Good afternoon everyone. Till now we have discussed about different types of chromatographic techniques. Today we are discussing about the paper chromatography technique. In the name itself it was denoting that it is a paper chromatography technique. That means here we will use the paper as a chromatographic bed. Already we have discussed the column chromatography, thin layer chromatography. In that column chromatography means we have used column as a chromatographic bed. That means in that glass we do all the chromatographic separation. Whereas in thin layer chromatography we have used thin layer of aluminum plate or steel plate or glass plate like that as a chromatographic bed. Whereas in paper chromatography, the name itself is denoting that we will use paper as a chromatographic bed. That means on the paper we will do the chromatographic separation. That's why the name is called as paper chromatography. In this paper chromatography, it is also an example of planar chromatography. Why? The paper is in the planar shape. Understood? Whereas the column is not planar. Okay, but paper chromatography is planar chromatography because we are taking the plain rectangular shaped paper. That's why it is an example of planar chromatography. And here we will do the chromatographic separation by taking not normal paper, whatever we are using daily or book from the books. We can't tear the paper and we can't do this paper chromatography. There is a specialized paper. We will prepare some specialized paper for the separation of different compounds. That paper we will use here. We should not use the normal paper because the separation will not happen. So this is the thing which is happening in paper chromatography. Here we will use some specialized paper. On that paper we will do the chromatographic separation of different samples. And there are two types of paper chromatographies. First one, paper adsorption chromatography, and the next one, paper partition chromatography. In the name itself it was indicating that paper adsorption chromatography means the main principle of separation happening is adsorption. By means of adsorption the separation will take place. That means I already told you adsorption chromatography means the stationary phase is solid and obviously wherever it is the mobile phase will be liquid. Whereas partition chromatography means both the stationary phases and mobile phases will be liquid only. So here in paper adsorption chromatography technique we will use the solid stationary phase and liquid mobile phase. What solid stationary phase we will use here? Paper impregnated with silica or aluminum acts as a stationary phase. Impregnated means soaked or melted or saturated. We will take one paper, normal filter paper like paper, and we have to soak that paper with the silica or alumina. That means we have to take the paper and you have to take some silica slurry and you have to apply that silica or alumina on that paper. That means we have to saturate that paper with the silica or alumina. That and then we have to dry it. First of all, we will take that specialized paper. On that we have to apply silica or alumina, or we have to impregnate or soak that paper in this silica or alumina slurry, and we have to dry it. That is called as the specialized paper. That paper we will use for the chromatographic separation. And the mobile phase already we know it will be liquid only. Okay, this is the paper adsorption chromatography. After drying that paper which is impregnated with silica or alumina, we have to spot the whatever samples we want to separate by means of this paper chromatography, and then after spotting of the sample you have to keep that paper into the development tank which is containing the mobile phase, and the separation or elution of the sample will take place based on the adsorption. That means if the sample is having more binding interaction with the stationary phase, it will not move more or it will not elute faster. It will stay more time with the stationary phase. If the sample is having more affinity with the mobile phase, it will elute or move fast along with the mobile phase. That is the thing happens in the paper adsorption chromatography. And the next type is paper partition chromatography. Partitioning means I already told you. Usually partition coefficient means you know the normal definition. How much partitioning of the solute is happening in between the two immiscible solvents. Normally, that means whenever we are adding some solute in the immiscible solvents, like best example oil and water, both are immiscible, how much solubility that sample is having in oil or water, based on that solubility it will partition into either water or it will be partitioned into either oil. If that solute or the sample is having more solubility in the oil, means it will get more partition into the oil. If it is having more solubility with the water, means it will partition into the water. So based on this partition coefficient, this paper partition chromatography will undergo separation of the samples. Here we will take, see, in the adsorption we used to take solid stationary phase and liquid mobile phase, whereas in paper partition chromatography we used to take liquid stationary phase, liquid mobile phase. But how? Here we are using paper. Paper is solid only. How come it will be liquid stationary phase? See, what will happen means, here we will take some specialized papers like Whatman filter paper. Filter papers, you know, no? Whatman filter papers. Whatman filter papers. Those are also solids only. You can see the Whatman filter paper. It will be solid only. How it come? It can act as a liquid stationary phase means, in the Whatman filter paper there will be some pores inside the Whatman filter paper. There will be some pores. Inside the pores, cellulose fibers. That means Whatman filter paper is made up of cellulose fibers. Inside the cellulose fibers there will be moisture content. That moisture content will act as a liquid. That's why we are calling this paper partition chromatography is here the in the paper partition chromatography we are using liquid stationary phase. Don't think that we are directly taking the liquid as a stationary phase. Here we will take the stationary phase paper only. It is solid only. But here the main principle is partition. Why means, even though we are taking solid stationary phase paper, but that paper is a very special paper. It contains the moisture content. That means liquid. That's why the stationary phase here is liquid. Understood? That's why the moisture or water present in the pores of cellulose fibers present in the filter paper acts as stationary phase. That's why here we are calling it as stationary phase is liquid. And obviously mobile phase, whatever we are using, it is also liquid. So whether the sample is having more partitioning or more solubility with the Whatman filter paper, it will elute later. If it is having more solubility with the mobile phase, it will elute fast. These are the two types of paper chromatographies. One is paper adsorption chromatography and another one is paper partition chromatography. For both things the principle of separation is different. For this adsorption and for partition, paper chromatography partition, and here the stationary phase is solid and the mobile phase is liquid, whereas in paper adsorption chromatography the stationary phase is liquid, semi-liquid, and the mobile phase is also liquid. Next, coming to the next step, that means what are the different practical requirements or what are the different parts required to do the paper chromatography technique, we will see now. First of all, we need the stationary phases on papers. That means on the paper only we will apply the stationary phase now. That's why first thing we need is stationary phases and papers, and then after taking that paper, on that we have to apply the sample, and then we have to keep in the mobile phase, and then we start doing the development technique. That's why we need the developing chamber. And then there are four types of development techniques. We will discuss later whenever we are coming to that topic. And finally we have to do detection. First of all, we have to take the stationary phase and papers, and then we have to apply the sample, and then we have to keep in the mobile phase, and then we have to take this mobile phase and the paper into the development tank, and then we have to wait for the development, and then finally we have to detect the final separated sample. First of all, we will see from sequence onwards. The first thing what we need is stationary phase and papers. Here I already told you, in the name itself it was denoting that it is a paper chromatography. That's why we will use the paper, and normal paper we can't use. we have to use some specialized papers. What those papers are? Here we can use normally Whatman filter papers of different grades. Different grades means number 1, number 2, number 3, number 20, so and so will be there. Why they are giving these different numbers for Whatman filter papers? These numbers are for to denoting the porosity or pore size and how much amount of what we will call cellulose fibers are present in that Whatman filter paper will denoted by these numbers. Number 1, number 2, number 3 means the pore size will be different for this series of numbers. Based on that numbers, we will give the grades to the Whatman filter papers. That means based on these different grades, we can see how much pore size is there or porosity level of that filter paper. And usually each and every filter paper usually it contains 98 to 99% of alpha cellulose and 0.3 to 1% of beta cellulose. Already you know cellulose is out of two types, alpha and beta. Usually this Whatman filter paper consists of most high amount of alpha cellulose compared to the beta cellulose. And these type of filter papers we will use for the normal separation of so many chemical compounds, but sometimes we can use few different types of filter papers also. That means already Whatman filter paper only we will take for separation, but sometimes those Whatman filter papers only we will do some more modifications. For example, acid washed filter paper or base washed filter paper. Why means if you want to separate the basic drugs or some type of polar drugs, we will add or we will take that filter paper, Whatman filter paper, and we will apply the acid solution or base solution based on the polarity or acidic nature or basic nature of the sample. We will use either acid solution or basic solution, and we will wash our filter paper, Whatman filter paper, with that acid solution or base solution for better separation of the samples. These acid or base washed filter papers we will use for some complex mixtures or some acidic type of drugs or basic type of drugs. And other type of Whatman filter papers are hydrophilic papers. That means hydrophilic Whatman filter papers, hydrophobic Whatman filter papers. Here in the name itself it was denoting that hydrophilic Whatman filter papers. Hydrophilic means water loving. They are water loving. So to make the Whatman filter paper hydrophilic, we will add some solutions to that. That means we will add some water loving solutions like methanol, formaldehyde, glycol, glycerol. Why? What is the use of adding these solutions? Means these solutions will make our Whatman filter paper hydrophilic. Other things are hydrophobic papers. That means in the name itself here it was denoting that we are making our Whatman filter paper more hydrophobic by adding some reagents like acetylation or acetyl group containing compounds to make the compound, to make our Whatman filter paper more hydrophobic in nature. What is the need of doing this? If the compound, whatever we are separating, if it needs more hydrophilic nature or a more hydrophobic nature, for its separation, we have to use these type of filter papers. Normally, first of all, I am telling you, usually for normal common separations, we use Whatman filter papers of different grades. But for some type of acidic drugs or basic drugs, we have to use the Whatman filter paper washed with the acidic solution or basic solution. And for few types of hydrophilic components or drugs or hydrophobic components or drugs, we have to use the hydrophilic Whatman filter paper or hydrophobic Whatman filter paper. These are things regarding the stationary phase and papers. Next, coming to the next thing, after we have selected the Whatman filter paper or stationary phase, on that paper we have to apply the sample. That means first of all we have to go for the selection of the stationary phase, that is nothing but our paper, and after taking that paper you have to apply the sample. Directly we can't apply the sample because every time we should not use the concentrated sample solution. For better separation or for accurate results we have to take the dilute solution. Why? if you are taking the concentrated sample solution, it may react with the sample. Further, more interactions may happen with that paper, and we will get the wrong results because of that more concentration of sample. Some other false results also will come. So mostly we have to use the dilute concentrations to get the very accurate and sensitive results. So first of all, we have to take the sample, and if it is solid or liquid, we have to add solvent or mobile phase to it, and then by using the capillary tube, you have to apply the sample on the paper. That means first of all we have to take one beaker, and then we have to add the sample, and you have to dilute the sample with either any other solvent or mostly mobile phase, and you have to mix it, and from that mixture you have to, by using the capillary tube, we have to spot the sample solution on the paper whatever we have taken. Okay, after adding this or after application of the sample, you have to wait for 2 minutes, and then what you have to do, the next step is mobile phase. What type of mobile phases we will use in the paper chromatography? The different types of mobile phases or solvents or buffers also we can use for the separation of components by using paper chromatography. Already I told you, stationary phases also we can use hydrophobic type of stationary phases and hydrophilic type of stationary phases. Like that, for good separation of different types of hydrophobic drugs or hydrophilic drugs, we can use hydrophilic mobile phases and hydrophobic mobile phases. Hydrophilic mobile phases examples are, we can take the ratios of isopropanol or ammonia and water in 9:1 ratio, or methanol and water in 4:1 ratio or 3:1 ratio. And hydrophobic mobile phases best example is dimethyl ether and cyclohexane, or kerosene and 70% isopropanol. Why we are using this type of ratios of the hydrophilic natured compounds means they will increase or they will compensate or compete with the nature of the compounds which we are separating. That's why we will add these hydrophilic solutions or hydrophobic solutions to the mobile phase in different ratios for better separation. These are the different types of mobile phases we will use. Based on the drug chemical nature or structure, we will select any of this type of mobile phase, and we will take that mobile phase in the development tank or development chamber. I already told you in TLC also, I told you mostly in industries they used to take the development tank or development vessel or jar, but normally in institutions or colleges they used to take some big beakers. So those are called as development chambers. Usually they are made up of glass, plastic or stainless steel. So they will take these development chambers. In that chamber, whatever the mobile phase you want to keep, we will add the mobile phase up to 1/4 level. First of all, we have to take the development chamber of different sizes based on the separation capability. We have to take the different sized development chambers, and then you have to add the mobile phase into the development chamber up to 1/4 level only. Okay, then after that, first of all we have to take the development chamber. In that we have to add the mobile phase, and then you have to keep our paper which is spotted with the sample solution. For example, this is the beaker with mobile phase. In that beaker or chamber, we have to keep our paper which is spotted with the sample, and you have to keep aside. Why? You have to give the time for the separation of the sample. That means whatever the sample you have spotted, if it is having more solubility in the mobile phase, it will move along with the mobile phase. If it is having more affinity with the stationary phase, it will move slowly in that mobile phase. So that process will happen. It will take almost half an hour. So you have to keep aside for the proper development of the or elution of the sample. There are 5 types of development techniques. One is ascending development, descending development, ascending and descending development, circular or radial development, and 2-dimensional development. That means we can do this development, that means whatever the sample which is developing or eluting, it will happen in any of these 5 types. You can easily understand by seeing the diagrams. First of all, this is ascending development. In ascending development, you already know ascending means against the gravitational force. That means we will take the beaker and we will keep the paper in that beaker. Mobile phase will be there, and you will keep the paper which is having the sample spots, and the sample moves against the gravitational force. If the sample is having more affinity towards the mobile phase, it will move or elute fast. If it is having less affinity with the mobile phase or more affinity with the stationary phase, it will elute slow. See, we have to take one development chamber. Inside this development chamber, we have to take the mobile phase. After taking the mobile phase, you have to keep our paper. See, by using some clips or cotton thread, we are hanging this paper without touching the walls. If it is touching the walls, maybe the elution or development will not occur properly. That's why without touching the side walls, we have to hang the paper by using cotton thread, and you have to cover the glass beaker or development chamber also to avoid the environmental or atmospheric conditions to interact with the inside development chamber conditions. Okay, and then see, after that, keeping the mobile, we have done the sample spotting. This is the sample spot, and it will move along this direction. That means against the concentration gradient. This is called as ascending development. And next one is, you can see, descending development. Descending development means in the name itself it was denoting that we will keep in the ascending development, the elution taken place in the against the concentration gradient like this. In the descending development, the elution will take place along the gravitational force. That means we will keep the paper like this in an inverted position. Understood? First of all, here normally in the ascending technique, we will take one beaker and mobile phase, and we will keep the paper. The elution will take place like this. But in descending, we will take one beaker on the upper position. In the upper position, solvent will be there. Whereas in descending, mobile phase is down. Whereas in descending, the mobile phase is up. And by connecting the paper to this mobile phase, we are just soaking. That means the paper will just touch the solvent, and after touching the solvent, the paper, whatever the sample spots which are present on that paper, they will elute along the concentration gradient. Whereas here in the ascending, the elution will take place in this direction against the gravitational force, whereas in descending, the elution will takes place along the concentration gradient. That is, ascending and descending are in reverse. Ascending means elution will be like this, and in descending means elution will be like this. These are the two differences. Why? What is the need of doing these things? Means in sample there will be plenty of components which are having different types of structures and functional groups. To know how the separation will happen, to get complete component separations, we will use both ascending and descending or any other direction also to get all the components to get separated well. Okay. Next one is ascending and descending. I already told you, sometimes few people will do both ascending and descending. Maybe whatever the mixture is there, in that 10 components are there, 6 components may be eluted by ascending technique and 4 components may be eluted by using the descending technique. That's why they will use 2 types of development techniques for better separation or complete separation of all the components present in the sample. And another one is circular or radial. In the name itself, it was denoting that we will use circular or radial type of thing. Usually in ascending and descending, we used to take the beakers. Whereas in circular and radial technique, we used to take petri dish. You know already, petri dish will be circular with less width. And after taking the petri dish, we have to take the radial paper. Paper will be in circular or radial, and on that circular or radial paper we will do the sample spots, and that radial or circular paper we keep on the petri dish. How the mobile phase will touch the sample which is present on the paper means, by using one cotton twig, we will keep one hole in the center of the paper, and into that paper we will send the cotton tweak, and that cotton tweak will touch the mobile phase which is present in the petri dish. First of all, we will take the petri dish. In that petri dish, we will add the mobile phase, and then we will take the circular or radial paper, Whatman filter paper. On that we already did the sample spotting, and in the middle we will keep one hole, and into that hole we will send the cotton tweak. Not only into that hole, the cotton tweak will also touch the mobile phase which is present in the petri dish. Through this cotton tweak, the mobile phase will flow or move through the paper. So based on that, the elution will happen, and after the mobile phase is spreading through this cotton tweak onto the circular paper, the sample which is present on the paper will get mixed with both the mobile phase and stationary phase, and based on its solubility it will elute slow or it will elute fast. Understood? This is the cotton wick. Through this wick only, whatever the solvent or mobile phase which is present in the petri dish will move on to the paper which is present on the upper layer of the petri dish. Okay, this the thing, and after that sample which will react with the solvent and the mobile phase, and the sample will elute like anything based on the solubility nature. And the last thing or last development technique is two-dimensional development technique. Two-dimensional means both vertical and horizontal. You can see by this thing. See, in this, first of all, the elution taken place in this direction. That means vertical direction. By using the same paper, first of all, we have done the elution in the vertical direction. After that, the same paper, we will change the direction into clockwise 90 degrees, and we will keep in the beaker, and the elution will take place in this direction. First of all, by keeping the paper in the development tank, the elution have taken place in this direction, and we are changing the direction like this in the clockwise 90 degrees, and we will do the elution in another direction. Two-dimensional. Why? Because some components may be eluted in this direction. When you change the direction of the paper, maybe some components may be eluted in that direction also. So these are the things which are happening in the development techniques: ascending, descending, circular, ascending and descending, and two-dimensional development techniques. And in the next class we will see the detection topics. Okay, thank you.